Hey guys, I'm Jill Powell, and today I have my beautiful friend Rebecca here with me, and we are doing this easy everyday foundation skin look that everyone can do. Pretty simple. She's got normal skin, no issues, so we just kept it basic. So if you're looking for a natural, easy, everyday skin, stay tuned. Okay, so Rebecca, we were talking, you pretty much have like normal skin, right? Mm-hmm. Not overly oily, not overly dry. So anytime I'm working with, I haven't done your makeup yet, huh? Mm-mm. So this is the first time I'm doing Rebecca's makeup. I'm so excited. Yay. So anytime I'm working with somebody who I haven't done their makeup, I always put their skincare on with my hands. That way I can feel for any texture, kind of see what they've got going on. But I can pretty much see, I mean, you don't look dry, you don't look oily, you pretty much do look normal. So I think she's got normal skin, guys. So I'm gonna start out with just a moisturizer. This one is a little bit more intense of a moisturizer, but I love it for skin prep. It's the Sicily Black Rose Cream Mask. So we're just going to massage this into her skin. And yeah, you pretty much do have normal skin. Oh my gosh. There's not many people who have like perfectly normal skin, like not too dry, not too oily. Nice. Did you do skincare this morning, like moisturizer or anything?
Just a moisturizer with a SPF in it.
Nice. It's always important to wear your SPF every single day, guys. That is what keeps your skin young and preventing against free radical damage, environmental damage, sun rays, aging rays, burning rays, hyperpigmentation, all of that. Very, very important. And if you don't know about SPF, try to look for the ones that say PA++. Those are broad spectrum so that they are preventing against burning rays and aging rays, UVA and UVB. So that is important when you're looking for an SPF. Okay, so just massaging that in your skin. You have no dry patches. You have no oily patches. You literally have perfectly normal skin. You were normal. This is like
I'm normal.
Amazing. It doesn't happen very often where somebody has like no anything, so this will be fun. I'm gonna do a little bit of an eye cream. We're just gonna start along the outer parts of the eye, and then I'm just gonna kind of bring my ring finger. I like to use my ring finger because it applies the least amount of pressure. There's a little trick if you put your hand down on a flat surface and you actually put your middle finger tucked in. You can't lift your ring finger. And it's because these two are connected, so it applies the least amount of pressure. A little fun fact, full of them today. So we're just going to apply this eye cream. This one's by Algenist. Just gonna brighten and kind of hydrate the skin around the eyes. My third favorite step in skincare prep is the lips. So it's always important to do a lip balm or a lip moisturizer when you're doing your skincare, because this way it gives you enough time for that to soak in before you move on to lips. So it's always good in that step not to forget about the lip area. If the lips are really dry or flaky, you can also do a lip mask, a little scrub. Sorry, not a mask, a scrub, like a sugar lip scrub or something to help slough off the dead skin cells. But we're just going to hydrate them. This is the Bite Beauty Lip Mask. Okay, so she is prepped as far as skincare, but now we're gonna prep for makeup. So I'm gonna use a primer, and this is Hourglass Veil Primer. It's great because it has your SPF in there. It's a mineral-based primer, waterproofs makeup. I find that it's really great for all skin types. It works great with all makeup I've used it with. It doesn't roll, it doesn't cause any weird stickiness or anything. So when I find a primer I like, I stick with it, and this one I love. So we are just going to be applying a thin layer all over, and I'm using the MAC 190, which is a flat foundation brush. So just something really basic. She doesn't really have a lot of like texture or anything that I need to worry about. So flat foundation brush is a good brush choice for her skin. And Rebecca, what do you wear on a daily basis? Do you wear foundation every day?
I do the Bare Minerals, the one powder,
Like
and
little
then
powder.
the Mineral Veil or whatever.
Like this, the setting powder?
And that's pretty much it, along with my moisturizer.
Yeah. So you're pretty natural. So we're obviously going to do a lot more makeup than she's used to. That's okay. Okay, so now that we have her primer on, I am going to be using the Kogan Dough Moisture Foundation. I have two different colors. One's more neutral, one's more yellow. So she definitely has a yellow undertone, but she does have some pink surface tones. So if I do too much yellow, it's going to take away all of that pink, and she does have some pink in her chest. So it's all about trying to mimic and make everything look really fluid. So that's why I chose both colors. One is not necessarily darker than the other. It's just the undertones are a little bit different. So I've got 123 and 023, so just 23. So these are kind of like a tinted moisturizer, except they do offer a tiny bit more coverage. But I know, Rebecca, you don't wear too much makeup, so I didn't want to make you look overly done or anything that's, you know, too far out of your comfort zone. We're already going to bring you out of your comfort zone here. I like that. All right. We're looking good. So I'm going to bring that yellow through the center of her face, as well as on her, actually through the center of her forehead, as well as on her jawline, because that's going to blend in with her neck color. And then I'm going to bring the neutral tone more through the center here, and then the perimeters up there. I'm just using a little bit at a time. I like to work in sheer layers. I find that if you just build the foundation gradually, you actually get a more natural finish. It doesn't look heavy or cakey. You make less mistakes. You only put on as much as you need. It's just a little better. That's my kind of favorite technique. So this one's more neutral, and then I am bringing that right through the cheeks because that's where she had some of her surface like pink colors. So I want to mimic that just so that it keeps looking natural and a little bit of dimension. We don't want to take away everything. A little bit through your nose too. So I'm just kind of blending the residual, whatever I've got left. Again, she doesn't need a lot. And since she's not used to wearing a ton, I don't want to, you know, create this huge mask of makeup and something that she's not comfortable with. So she doesn't really need a ton of concealer, but I am going to use a tiny bit. And I'm going to try the Elsie concealers. This one is light, might be a little light. So I did grab medium tan as well. Medium's in my own personal makeup bag. I stole it out of my kit. I normally don't steal my kit makeup, but I really love this concealer so much. So I did steal this one. So I'm going to mix light and medium tan to create the color that I need for under her eyes and around her nose. So as you can see, these are my two colors. I'm just going to create my own color as needed. And then go ahead and look up for me. And just taking, this is the Hakuhodo concealer brush from Sephora. It was limited edition a little while ago, but just anything that's kind of flat, but a little bit of fluff to it, just to give a really nice blend for the concealer. I don't want to pack it on too heavy, so I'm not doing like just like a plain flat brush. My fingers are cold, sorry. And then I'm just using my finger to press it in. So it just brightens, if you can see that, like how bright this is under the eye compared to this one. She doesn't need a lot, but it really does make a huge difference. Just that little bit. So getting right under there. And then I'm taking whatever is left on my brush and just kind of going along the nose. She had a little bit of redness around her nose, so yeah. And it's crazy right now with like the weather changing and stuff. and then through the center here. So I'm going to use a little bit of bronzer. This is NARS Laguna. It's just in a holiday palette. And I'm just going to create a little bit of shape. I didn't want to give her too much of a darker foundation. So we are going to create shape with bronzer today. Just since she's a lighter skin tone, I didn't want to make her look too tan. And I wanted to really be able to create the shapes that we want. So a tiny bit, this is like a small angled brush. And I'm just kind of carving out a little bit of her cheekbone. And as you can see, I'm gradually building it, very light touches. I don't want to do, again, she doesn't wear a ton of makeup normally, so I don't want to do like a really strict contour, anything too crazy. Maybe we could do transformational makeup, but I'm all about bringing out natural beauty, so that's what we're going to do. So basically her cheekbone's right here, and then we're just going to go right underneath and gradually build a little bit of definition. I'm also going to take a tiny bit here and then bring it down on her neck. Her neck's a little bit lighter, just under her chin, as a lot of ours are. So I like to bring it just at the jawline and then down on the neck to create that nice shadow. So I am just bringing a tiny bit on the top of her forehead. I always like to keep the center of the forehead a little bit lighter through the center of the face, but then we can kind of create some shape in some other areas. So just giving her a little bit more definition, but very light. I don't like to see like a huge line. And then turn towards me just a little bit. I just want to create a little bit of shape. I'm just going to give you a tiny bit of nose contour.
Yeah. Just know how to do it.
No. This is something you would probably never do, but just for fun. So she has a smaller bridge up here, so I'm not going to contour that a lot because I don't want to make it look too thin. But I am just going to give her a little bit of shape right here. This is just for like a photo. I don't personally love too much nose contour when you can notice it, but I do like a little bit of definition just for photos. Sometimes I'll even like just bronze the whole nose and then highlight the center, but this will be fun because I know you will never do this at home, ever.
You're right.
Ever, ever. So we're just going to give a tiny bit of shape. And I'm just using the same Laguna bronzer with a kind of like an eyeshadow blending brush, a fluffier brush. And then this is my concealer brush, so we're just going to highlight through the center. Okay, I'm going to stick with the same palette. This one's Orgasm Blush, which is really great universal color. It works on so many people, but because you have those golden undertones, those like neutral surface tones, I know this is going to look amazing. So it's just going to give her a tiny pop of like that pinky gold on her cheekbones. And I'm using the LCF10 brush. This is like an angled brush. Just going right on that cheekbone just to give a tiny bit of color. You don't wear blush typically, do you?
No.
I know, I'm putting this on you and be like, I've never seen you with any blush, ever. So because of her face shape, I want to keep it strictly pretty much on her cheekbone. So I'm just kind of softening a little bit, a little hair on you. I'm not used to seeing her with blush, so this is very different, but I love it. Okay, so I mean, you brows are amazing, and you typically don't fill them in or do much to them.
I have a lot of brow.
You have a good brow.
Oh, thanks.
I'm jealous. I want that much brow.
Thanks.
I add to try to make my brows look like that. I used to have that. Plucked them all out. Don't do that, guys. If you are my younger generation out there, I've told my daughter, don't touch your brows.
That's what my mom
Seriously.
told me.
Yeah.
Do not touch my brows. And,
And
so
look-
I didn't for the longest time, but then I needed to shape them.
And now, but now they're amazing. I touched my brows for like 2 years in college. They didn't come back. So now I have my college brows for the rest of my life, whether I like it or not. So please, if you are going to tweeze your brows, make sure that you go to a professional and you do it properly. Don't do it like I did. Don't do this. Okay, so you have beautiful brows, and you don't really need to fill them in. I'm just going to give you a tiny bit. So this is a great example. Rebecca has a full brow. She doesn't need, I mean, this could be, that's all she needs. Done. Just for fun, I'm going to fill in a tiny bit, and I'm going to show you how light of a color I'm going to use, because if I used a dark color, it would be like so drawn on, and she already has a brow. So like, you don't need to fix something that's not, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So we are not going to break it or fix it, whatever. I'm just going to use a light color to give a little bit of definition. So I'm going in with this really light kind of taupey shade, and I'm not going to even define the whole thing. I'm just going to go into pretty much the tail end just to give a little added perfection. And I'm using an angled brush. This is natural bristled angle brush. And it's just giving me a nice soft application of color. She doesn't need a brow pencil. She doesn't need a lot of correction. So I wouldn't do a brow pencil unless you're doing something that's really just going to softly feather. And again, I'm using this really light color, guys. She does not need any shadow. Like, she does not need a dark color, because any shadow that you're putting behind it is going to add definition, because she already has a lot of hair. She already has the definition. So I'm going to turn slightly towards me. She's got a good shape going on, so we're not really going to correct. Just going to work with what she has. So Rebecca has pretty normal skin, and we hydrated and everything, so I'm going to use a tiny bit of translucent powder. I'm not a huge powder person. I don't like to pack the powder on. Personally, I like skin to look like skin, but I do want to make sure, because you normally wear a powder, you don't wear a cream or a liquid, and we did like a liquid foundation. I do want to powder a couple small areas just to make sure that they stay, that they, just don't look oily or anything like that. So I'm going to be using the Veil translucent powder from Hourglass, and I like to work out of the cap just because I don't use a ton of it. And I am using a smaller kind of rounded brush just so I can get specifically in the areas that I want to get. I'm going to go pretty much where people normally would get oily. Again, Rebecca has normal skin, literally one of the only people that I know who has completely normal skin. But because we hydrated it so much, I want to make sure that she doesn't look shiny through the center of her face. So right through the center of her forehead, her nose on either side, right underneath. And then I do like to do just a tiny bit to set the concealer, just to make sure it stays put, and just right in here, and then again through the center of the chin. So we're just going to set a little bit under the eyes, and a little bit through here. And this powder is great. It's really light. It mattifies really nicely. And it doesn't look cakey. It doesn't look heavy. It's just really pretty. I don't want to make her look too dry. I just want to make her look normal, since she's normal. That's right. Okay, so just like that, we are pretty much done. I mean, super simple. She's got beautiful, normal skin, didn't have any issues that I had to work through. And I know Rebecca, and she doesn't wear a ton of makeup, so I don't want to make you look crazy or out of your comfort zone. But basically, we started out with our skincare, with our moisturizer, our eye cream. We did lip balm. We went ahead and used the Veil Primer by Hourglass just to make sure everything stays on really well. The Kogan Dough Foundation, the Moisture Foundation, which is like a step up from a tinted moisturizer. It just looks like skin. It has a little bit of coverage. It's just really beautiful, flawless, not too heavy on the skin. So we did that. 2 different colors. Remember, we used the 023 and the 123, which are one's more neutral, one's more golden, but that way we could kind of mimic her natural skin. I used the LC concealer under the eyes. Remember the 2 different colors, basically medium, but since I stole medium, it's light and medium tan to make medium. So we did that under the eyes. I went ahead and contoured a little bit with the NARS palette. So we used Laguna for the contour. We used Orgasm as her blush. I skipped a highlighter today, but we did do a little bit of the Veil translucent powder from Hourglass just to set everything. And then we just perfected her brows. Her brows are already pretty awesome, but we just used a little bit of the Anastasia brow powder in her brows just to make sure everything looks amazing. So super simple look, kind of everyday. This could be done in probably like 5 minutes if you did it yourself. So we took a little longer because I explained a few things, but hopefully you can do this as an everyday skin look. Thanks again for watching my video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment below what you want to see next. All of the products used in my video are also linked below. And if you want to see more, follow me anywhere at Jill Powell Glam. Thanks again.